Welcome, wrestling fans. Welcome to Curtain Jerkin. As always, I'm your host, Jacob Grondy, reporting for the Main Event Marks YouTube channel. You can also check me out on Spotify, however you're listening to my voice. I appreciate it. I just wanted to jump on here. I know it's been a while, and I wanted to talk about the week that was in AEW. We're going to be giving you a lot of WWE stuff coming up. So here is the week that was in AEW. One thing that came out kind of yesterday, Camille has signed to AEW. I think this is a big signing for AEW. She was great in 2019 NWA, and I think she kind of stuck around NWA a little too long. Her hype has kind of died down a lot, but you can bring that back. She is a force to be reckoned with. She can maybe fill that hole that Jade left AEW. And I think it's good. I mean she's already been on AEW a few times a while ago. So I support this move. I'm a fan of Camille. But going into AEW Dynamite, I'm going to talk mainly about AEW Dynamite and things that came out of AEW Dynamite, and then Rampage and Collision. There's some things that caught my eye, but not too much. And I mean, I feel like Dynamite's the flagship show of AEW, so that's what I'm going to focus on. The Elite come out, sick whips, titles on their shoulders, and then another car pulls up, and it's fucking Jungle Boy, Jack Perry. Yeah, Okada, a foot taller than all these guys. The only one not from California. The only one not with long hair. He kind of stands out. I don't know. It seems like Jack Perry's like the third Young Buck here. And then Okada is just like, I don't know, man. Okada should have stayed in New Japan, if you ask me. I mean, I get he's making millions. But, man, it just, he just seems like a lackey for the Young Bucks right now, and he never was that. He never was a lackey. He was always the man. He was always the rainmaker, and it just is. It's just rough to see him this way. But I mean, they do have a few years to build him. He did have that great match against Pac. He does have the. He had a good match against Kingston. There's still time, but it looks like he's slipping away. Possibly this group might be too goofy for a main heel stable, but we'll have to see. During the first match, they showed the Elite going into Tony Khan's office. As they are leaving Tony Khan's office, Jack Perry and Okada, they snub Marquez, but Matthew Jackson mentions that he's going to be in the middle of the ring tonight. They're gonna talk. Jack Perry's going to talk to TK tonight, something like that. Trent attacking Orange Cassidy to kick off the show at Daly's place. That was kind of a cool little thing. And then Chuck Taylor comes out, and they're going to have a parking lot brawl on Rampage. We're going to talk a little bit about that a little later. Mox cut a promo. That was okay. Willow's celebration with Statlander and Stokely. They bring her out. Caprice Coleman rapping to her commentary. The whole thing was there. It was great. And then she gets cut off by the CEO, Mercedes Moné. No one knows who attacked Mercedes. They're trying to figure it out. And as Moné is leaving, Statlander, for some reason, grabs Moné's arm. Moné thinks it's Willow. She slaps Willow. And then there's a big pull apart here. Tension building between Willow and Mercedes Moné. I want to say that this segment here was the best segment out of this little feud. Something that kind of got the ball rolling here. And I would say Okada and Mercedes Moné both feel like nothing after being brought in for millions of dollars. Someone who's been making millions of dollars for a long time in AEW. Jericho comes out, new song. This song cracked me up. I am the learning tree. That was just that little saying at the beginning was hilarious. He's not the fuck the world champion. He's the for the world champion. A great way to be a heel while thinking you're a face in character. You need to listen to me when I say lay down is what he said to Hook, because he did tell Hook to lay down before he hit him with the bat, kind of saying that it's your fault that I hit you with the bat. Hilarious. And then Big Bill comes out and says that he needs guidance and he wants to be under the learning tree, and Jericho will take on Shibata next week. So I guess, we're saying that Big Bill and Jericho look like they're teaming up. I like it. I mean, Big Bill started with Enzo as we all know. And then he moved to Ricky Starks, and then he moved to Jericho. So he's progressively going up and up and up the ranks of who's like kind of a big man he's going to be the big manning for. Will Ospreay and Don Callis bickering about the Tiger Driver 91 and why Will Ospreay won't use it because of what happened to Bryan. I think this is good in storyline because then you always have it in your back pocket of, oh, he had to use the Tiger Driver 91 to win the match and things like that. Story arc here. But then we get to the thing that everyone was talking about, the wrestling world was talking about leaving Rampage. Will Ospreay has nothing to do with this. Tony Schiavone, first time they've gotten confused. Tony Schiavone introduces Jack Perry. He says he has some of his best nights in his entire life in Jacksonville. The crowd goes crazy, and then he brings out TK. He just wanted to have his hand shook. They just wanted to shake hands, and then all of a sudden, he just hits him, in the before that, there's a hug, and then the camera zooms in, and Jack Perry just gives this smile, and then and there that it's fucked up, and then he gives the shot to the stomach, and then they bring out, the Elite. They hit the Meltzer driver, and they attack Tony Khan. Matt said something to the camera, but they were shooting from another camera, so we didn't really hear what it was said. The locker room clears out, and then we had Mr. Khan, Tony's father, comes out to make sure he's okay. The best part of this angle is actually the day after this angle happened, where Tony Khan was shown at the NFL draft with a neck brace on. This cracked me up here. Kayfabe is alive and well. Andy Kaufman, spirit lives on through Tony Khan. I like the idea of this, but I do think the execution was bad. I think that I feel like Anthony Ogogo just got the punch to the stomach could have been his thing because he just did that like a week ago, and now Jack Perry does the punch to the stomach, kind of taken from the only thing Ogogo really had a go going for him, and of course Tony Khan, not a trained wrestler, looked kind of shitty, and no one really cared. Everyone was just cheering for Scapegoat. I feel like the crowd in Jacksonville, you got to remember the Jacksonville crowd was AEW before Punk was AEW. Punk didn't want to join AEW until they were out of Jacksonville. So I think that this was a very pro-Elite crowd to do this angle for. They weren't going to boo the Elite anyways. They didn't want to boo the Bucks. They don't want to boo Okada, and they didn't want to boo Jungle Boy because I think in their eyes he's stuck up for he stuck up to CM Punk, this guy who ultimately wasn't pro AEW at the end of the day. So I think this was the wrong crowd to do this in front of, and I don't think it really got heat. Yeah, those are the things I think. The NFL draft with Tony Khan wearing the neck brace. I mean, he's got the neck brace on, but then he's like smiling the whole time. He's sipping that drink. Whatever the fuck's in that drink, I don't think there's anything in that drink. I think he knows to just do something with his hand and mouth because he just always sips it. Like, it's never done. He never gets a refill. What the fuck is in these mugs for these press conferences and the NFL draft? That's kind of what I think. But let's get into the matches here. The ranking from worst to first, all four matches on AEW Dynamite. Number 4, Will Hobbs versus Jon Moxley, the IWGP title. Slow pace, action goes to the floor, and Hobbs gets choked out by Moxley. This was, this match had a lot of heat in Japan proper because, Will Hobbs never wrestled for New Japan Pro Wrestling, and here he is getting a world title match. A lot of the younger wrestlers in New Japan, maybe it was kayfabe, maybe not, posted their disdain for this match on Twitter. And also, it looks like Hobbs got hurt for a long time. So that's why I put this at number 1. I mean, there was kind of, heat that you can't capture and use to your advantage in pro wrestling, where guys from New Japan proper are complaining that this guy got a title match and then he gets hurt. I didn't mind Hobbs getting a title match because you knew he wasn't going to win. But then at the end of the match, Takeshita comes out, stares down Jon Moxley, and it looks like we're probably going to get Takeshita versus Jon Moxley for the IWGP title. The strange turn of events where the IWGP title not in New Japan and is just a title in AEW. It's very odd to see. I got to be honest with you. Number 3, Mia Sakawaya, hopefully I'm saying that right. I know I butchered it, versus Anna Jay. This match is easy on the eyes. Mia, she looks good. She locks in the figure 4 and then rolls her up and brings that. I like this one where she rolls Anna Jay up and then she brings her upper leg and kind of hooks Anna Jay's leg a little more and pins her. 1, 2, 3. The glamorous collection is what that roll up is called. Mariah May looking to celebrate, but Anna Jay goes after Mariah May, attacking her. Toni Storm shows up. I didn't think she cared enough about Mariah May to save her from an ass whooping, but she did it here. And then, as soon as they think they got the victory here, and Anna Jay is kept at bay, Serena Deeb shows up and starts posing with Toni Storm's title. So, a lot of people always shit on the women's division in AEW, but this right here, I liked Anna Jay and this lady in Stardom. Both of them are attractive. It peels off into a celebration, and then before you know it, you have a legitimate title feud, Serena Deeb and Toni Storm, where the match is going to be good at the end of the day. I'm all for it. Bringing Camille in this kind of environment, I'm here for it. The first match of Swerve's, post-title victory. This was an eliminator match, so it wasn't for the title. It was him versus Fletcher. Nana introduces him as the new world champion. Solid back and forth here. Swerve stomp on the apron. House call countered by an ankle lock. Trading pile drivers. Swerve gets the win. Solid match here. What I would have done, I don't know, this is a little fantasy booking here, was I would have just set up a match between Swerve and Fletcher on ROH television and had Fletcher arrogantly enough say it's an eliminator match for his title. And then you might be like, hey, if you want to see the first match with Swerve as champion, you got to subscribe to Honor Club and maybe get a few eyes going to Honor Club prior to, of course, Collision, where he wrestled Claudio. But that's just nitpicking for days. It's the second best match on the show. The first best match on the show was the Casino Gauntlet match. Jay White and Dante Martin kicked things off. Penta out next with then Kyle O'Reilly, but then a huge pop for Will Ospreay. Lance Archer after that. Of course, Will Ospreay and Lance Archer had that great G1 match in Texas a few years ago that spilled over to a United States title feud that they all had. He throws Ospreay on to everybody, sets up some tables only for Commander to show up and hit a Hurricane Rana, throwing Archer through those tables. This table bump was kind of weak. Jay Lethal comes out of hiding for this match. He's in it. Ospreay hits Commander with a hidden blade. 1, 2, 3. Will Ospreay gets the victory. The Undisputed Kingdom come out after that because Double or Nothing. Will Ospreay versus Roderick Strong. I think the writing's on the wall here. Will Ospreay is going to win that title, and then you kind of have all these guys all have titles. Will Ospreay's got a title. Okada's got a title. Swerve's got a title. It's like, then it's just a battle of who's the most over. Moxley has a title. Like, where is the world title here? Who is the best here with all these titles? It's too many titles is what I'm saying. Kind of dilutes them all. But going over to Collision and Rampage, some things that just caught my eye, not the full show here, just some things I think are worth talking about. Swerve coming out, first time he speaks since winning the championship. He starts recapping Dynasty. He does an open challenge. Claudio answers it, and I think this could have been a bigger deal if promoted correctly. They could have done something about this, setting this up on Collision through Dynamite or something like that. But of course, I'm being picky again. I care about this Swerve title reign. Claudio versus Swerve, great match. Swerve diving off the stage onto Claudio, hitting a 450 1-2. Claudio kicks out. And then he hits the stomp to Swerve. Claudio hits the stomp to Swerve. Swerve ain't into that. He's hulks up, huge suplex by Swerve, stomp 1-2, no, sharpshooter from Claudio, lariat 1-2. Swerve kicks out. Claudio blocks the stomp with his strong as fuck shoulders and turns it into an uppercut. Swerve hits a German and then hits the stomp. House call 1-2-3. Swerve gets the victory. And then we had Phoenix returning. Phoenix is back versus Black Mortis. Black Mortis used to be Black Taurus. Phoenix having a hard time picking the big man up. The big man spears Phoenix out of midair. Frog splash 1-2, no. Roll up 1-2-3. Phoenix gets the victory, and the crowd goes crazy. The theme of Collision here was good to see. I feel like it was good to see Phoenix. He was back. But also Roosh. Roosh is back. He wrestled the underrated Martin Stone. I used to love this guy like 2-3 years ago when he was in NXT and everything. But he looked like he aged like 10 years since we last seen him come out in WWE. Classic Roosh though, beating the shit out of his opponent with a cord, and then super snug dropkick 1-2-3. Roosh gets the victory and then attacks him like a real jerk after the match. Danny Burch or Martin Stone, whatever you want to call him. He's an Englishman who spent some time in the WWE and got let go. And then we had the Grizzled Young Vets, two English guys who spent some time in the WWE and got let go versus the Acclaim. Scissor Me, Timbers 1-2, no. Gibson going off, lung blower. James Drake hits coast to coast, but the Acclaim get the win. But like I said, the theme of Collision was good to see. Good to see Grizzled Young Vets. Good to see Danny Burch. Good to see Roosh. Good to see Phoenix. But we go over to Rampage, where we had the Best Friends brawl. This was awesome. Took me back to the parking lot brawl that the Best Friends had with LAX. Chuck exposes some light tubes. Trent busted open and then gets power bombed on a windshield. But then Chuck gets choked out with a Go-Go Plata. So Trent wins the match. And then Trent attacks Chuck's ankle with a wrench. Smashes the ankle right on the right on the ball, I guess, with the wrench. Dick move, and Orange Cassidy chases him away, but it looks like things aren't over between Trent and Orange Cassidy. The main event though, Shibata and Danny Garcia versus Shane Taylor Promotions. Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty. Anthony Ogogo on commentary. Danny dancing while delivering chops. Moriarty eats a pin with a big kick. 1-2-3, fun match. Fun week of television for AEW. The WWE draft I'm going to talk about in my next episode. We're going to be talking about Backlash predictions. We're going to be talking about it all. I just wanted to maybe talk a little bit about things in AEW to kind of space out these episodes for everybody. Fly high. I'm out.